You're standing in a store, holding something expensive, something beautiful, something you'd never buy for yourself. You tell yourself it's perfect for them. They'll love it. They need this. But here's the truth you're not ready to admit. You're not shopping for them at all. You're shopping for the version of yourself you wish someone would see. Every carefully wrapped box, every thoughtful card, every gift you agonize over, it's a confession. A desperate, silent plea written in ribbon and paper that says, "This is what I need. This is who I wish I could be. This is the love I'm starving for, but can't ask for out loud." Psychologists call this projective gifting, and it's one of the most revealing things you'll ever do. Because the gifts you give aren't just presents, they're mirrors. And if you look closely enough, you'll see exactly what you've been denying yourself, exactly what you've been too afraid to ask for, exactly what you believe you don't deserve. Projective gifting is a psychological phenomenon where the act of giving becomes less about the recipient's actual needs and more about projecting your own unmet desires, unspoken wounds, and unconscious wishes onto someone else. It's a form of what psychologists call externalization, where internal conflicts and needs are acted out through external behaviors. You convince yourself you're being generous, thoughtful, considerate. But beneath that surface narrative, something else is happening. You're giving away pieces of the life you wish you had, the care you wish someone would offer you, the permission you can't give yourself. This pattern often develops in childhood, particularly in environments where your needs were dismissed, minimized, or considered burdensome. You learned that wanting things was selfish, that asking for help was weakness, that your desires didn't matter as much as everyone else's comfort. So you adapted. You became the giver, the thoughtful one, the person who always knows exactly what others need. But that gift-giving isn't purely altruistic. It's strategic. It's a way to express needs you were taught to suppress, to experience vicariously the care you were denied, to prove your worth through generosity because you never learned you were valuable just by existing. The mechanism works like this. When you buy someone a spa day, you are not just being nice. You're screaming that you're exhausted and need rest. When you give someone books about setting boundaries, you're confessing that your own boundaries are non-existent. When you buy luxury items for others, you're revealing that you feel deprived, that you believe comfort and indulgence are only acceptable when they're for someone else. The gift becomes a safe container for the vulnerability you can't express directly, a coded message you hope someone will eventually decode. In adulthood, projective gifting shows up in patterns you might recognize but have never named. You might find yourself spending money you don't have on gifts that are far too extravagant, not because the person needs them, but because giving them feels like giving yourself permission to want expensive things, to believe you deserve luxury even if you'd never claim it for yourself. You might obsessively research the perfect gift, spending hours agonizing over details, because the act of being seen as thoughtful temporarily fills the void of never feeling truly seen or understood yourself. Some of you give what you wish someone had given you at your lowest point. You buy self-help books for friends going through breakups, because no one gave you the roadmap when you were drowning. You send care packages to people who seem stressed because you remember what it felt like to fall apart alone, with no one checking if you were okay. Every gift is a time machine, an attempt to retroactively heal your own past by becoming the person you needed but never had. It's beautiful and heartbreaking in equal measure. Others give to create obligation, though you'd never admit it. You give extravagantly because somewhere deep inside you believe that if you give enough, eventually someone will give back. Someone will finally see how much you're struggling. Someone will ask if you're okay. The gift becomes a transaction, a bargaining chip in a game where you're trying to earn the care you were taught you had to deserve rather than simply receive. And when that reciprocation doesn't come, when people accept your gifts with gratitude but don't offer the specific form of care you were secretly hoping for, you feel resentful, hurt, unseen all over again. And here's the part that cuts deepest. You might avoid receiving gifts altogether. When someone gives you something thoughtful, you deflect, minimize, insist it's too much. Because receiving means acknowledging you have needs, and needs make you vulnerable, and vulnerability means you might be disappointed, abandoned, or told you're asking for too much. So you stay safe by staying in the role of giver, never recipient, always generous, never needy, perpetually caring for others while slowly starving yourself of the care you desperately crave. But here's what changes everything. The gifts you give are showing you exactly what you need to give yourself. This isn't a flaw. It's not selfishness disguised as generosity. It's your unconscious mind trying desperately to get your attention, using the only language it has: action. Every time you buy someone a journal because they should reflect more, you're being told you need space for your own thoughts. Every time you give someone a weekend getaway because they need a break, you're being shown that you're running on empty and rest isn't optional anymore. Every time you carefully select something beautiful for someone else, you're confessing that you believe beauty, comfort, and care are only justified when they're for others, never for you. The healing doesn't start with stopping the giving. It starts with getting curious about it. Before your next gift purchase, pause. Ask yourself, why this gift? Why this specific thing? What does this item represent to me? If I could receive anything right now without guilt or justification, what would it be? The answer that comes up, that's your truth. That's the need you've been outsourcing, the desire you've been projecting, the care you've been denying yourself. And then comes the harder part. You have to become your own recipient. You have to give yourself permission to want things, to need things, to buy yourself the spa day or the luxury candle or the afternoon off without justifying it through productivity or usefulness. You have to practice receiving without the crushing weight of obligation, without immediately calculating how to give back. You have to sit with the discomfort of being cared for, of mattering, of taking up space with your needs, instead of always making room for everyone else's. This isn't about becoming selfish. It's about becoming whole. It's about recognizing that the person who desperately needs your thoughtfulness, your generosity, your careful attention is you. That child who learned their needs were too much, they're still inside you, watching you give everyone else the care they were denied, wondering when it'll finally be their turn. There's a quote often attributed to Carl Jung: "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Your gift giving isn't fate. It's a pattern. And patterns can be interrupted, understood, and ultimately transformed. The presents you wrap so carefully are love letters to yourself that you've been mailing to the wrong address. Every bow, every card, every thoughtful gesture, they're all asking the same question. Am I allowed to need this too? And the answer is yes. You always were. This holiday season, before you exhaust yourself finding perfect gifts for everyone else, give yourself permission to be on your own list. Not as an afterthought, not as a reward for getting everything else done, but as a priority, as someone whose needs are just as valid, just as urgent, just as worthy of care and attention. Buy yourself the thing you keep buying for others. Take yourself on the trip you keep suggesting other people take. Give yourself the rest, the luxury, the beauty, the care you've been projecting onto everyone around you. You're not broken for giving this way. You're not manipulative or selfish. You're someone who learned to speak in code because direct communication about your needs felt dangerous. But you're safe now. You can say it out loud. I need help. I need rest. I need softness. I need someone to see me. And then, critically, you can become that someone. The most perfect gift you'll ever give is the one where you finally stop abandoning yourself, where you finally wrap up all that care, attention, and generosity and hand it directly to the person who's been waiting longest, you.